Hello, this is a video on the Mcp Carb kit for a KLR650. This is a Gen 1 2002. I have the L mod done, snorkel, a little cover removed, carbed out right now. I have a Lexx muffler that's kind of torn apart. You can see bits on the ground there. I'm just playing with the different tips. Once it's back together and see how it sounds. Air filter's out right now. Gonna clean that, but yeah. I just wanted to do a little video on this because I haven't really seen anyone talk about it, or specifically on the air cutoff mod. There's a lot of debate online on whether or not it works, and if it causes damage in the long run, that I won't be able to answer. But this is just a little video on the install without that specific cover, because again, there's not really any content online for it. So yeah, I currently have the DynoJet needle and kind of jetting recommendations, played around with it for a bit, tuned it. It's about as good as it runs in its current state. And I wanted to try something else, so that's the Mcp kit. I'm going to go with the jetting that was recommended. Pilot I might keep as a 40, but might just play around with it a little bit and see what happens. I'm at about 1,000 meters elevation here in Canada. I'm not too sure how much that's going to play into things. I don't do a whole lot of high elevation riding, but yeah, I guess as a starting point, try out some variations from this. What else? Yeah, this is the kind of instructions that come with it. There's some gaskets and rubber material included in this. Lots of detailed instructions, really good. He's a great guy to deal with, order from, and very thorough as far as information, and always open if you have questions. So, great guy, and let's see if it makes any difference. So, as I was saying, I have the carb out, and not quite taken apart, but a little bit. This was the, let's see if we can get to focus here. Something like that. This was the air cutoff valve. That was in there. The diaphragm's pretty well destroyed. It doesn't have a lot of mobility to it. I've cleaned it a bit, but there was some junk sitting inside. Let's see if I can get that. Yeah, some junk sitting inside of here. The performance just wasn't that good. I had the KLR first, and then I got this DR650. DR650 has so much more life to it, so now I'm suspicious if there's something else going on with KLR. Runs and rides fine, no weird noises or anything like that, but maybe something's up with carb configuration, or hopefully it's something to do with this air cutoff valve. I don't really want to go ahead and buy another diaphragm part for it. The DR doesn't have this functionality to it. It doesn't have the cutoff valve, so I figured, hey, what's the harm in trying out the block mod and see what happens. So what I've done already is I have kind of gone through the instructions with the Mcp kit a bit, and just found some stuff online. This is the cover that comes off of there. Pop. I gave it a first drag over some sandpaper here, and you can definitely see, as I can't remember his name, the owner of Mcp, suggests the high points are on the ears where the bolts go through. You get that kind of just by dragging it a few times, and you can see where the wear marks are. So I filled it up, put some marker around the whole area, and then you just kind of do your figure eights. Don't push too hard as you get close to the end. Maybe starting off you can go a little bit harder, but towards the end just go light and see if you can get all the Sharpie off. And that means it's flat, as long as you're using a flat surface. Yeah, so I used some 2-part epoxy, JB Weld. It's pretty old, it's clear. I didn't buy it specifically for this, but it's hard, it's in there, it should work. I'm going to give it a clean up, put it back together, and yeah. So first things first, I'm just going to get up to the gunk off the outside. I've given this a carb a really thorough clean last year when I did the DynoJet kit. So I'm just going to give it a quick brush, get anything off that's loose in the front, blow it off, and then start doing the jets. Okay, old news, business as usual. Take the 4 bolts out for the bottom cover. I'm going to start here. Okay, so parts we got here in this kit. Yeah, just went through a quick clean, I guess, to recap. edges are a little banged up. That's unfortunate. I've only had this bike for about a year, so don't think I did that when I took the carb apart, but never know. Seal looks good. That was replaced. I think I completely replaced everything except the float. So I'm not too worried about taking everything apart and looking at it. I'm thinking we're just going to do the jets and the needle and the AC. So just pulled the pilot jet out. Pilot is marked with a 40 on here. That's just from that hole using a series of skinny flathead drivers. This one popped out much easier. This is one I put in. So currently I have a 155 main jet. That's from DynoJet, the DynoJet kit. Don't actually know what the orifice size is because I know that changes between different manufacturers. Leave that there. So this is a 40. It says 40 on it. The one that what's his name? Grant from Mcp recommends. He says go with 38 pilot, 155 main. There's also one here for a 40 pilot, 152.5 main. Kind of want to stay with the bigger pilot jet. Here, I'm gonna think about it. All right, so I have decided. I'm going to go with the new jets. I'll go with the 155. So that's the current same one I have. I don't know if these kind of brands match up. DynoJet to whatever this is. It says AB 155 on it. So I'll go with 155 for the main, stick with the larger jet, and then I'll run the 38 pilot. I'll save the other ones in case I want to put it back and something weird's going on, but for now I'll trust the process and go with the recommended by Grant and try that. So I'll get it swapped over and see what's next. I've already gone ahead and worked on this part a bit. And there's a couple other parts in here for the air cutoff mod. So there's a gasket in here to replace the diaphragm to make a sealing face against here. Sits in there. And then there's also this rubber plug included by him. Rubber plug goes in there. There, that hole. If you get the kit, or you can see that picture online if you want to see a little bit better. But mixed up 2-part epoxy, let it get a little bit tacky, and then poured it into the orifice on the cap. Just this little edge sticking out. That has a hole that goes through this way. I didn't bother blocking off that side. Let it dry. It's dried overnight, and then you go ahead and get the face nice and smooth using some higher grit sandpaper. I think 400 to 600 is recommended. But I just used whatever I had on hand, and there isn't any crazy deep grooves, so I'm happy with it. Let's see how it turns out. You obviously want to get it nice and clean beforehand, so I'm going to go ahead and clean this up a little bit, clean up the inside, and then start putting it back together. Battery died, so today is the next day. I got the carb put back together, put it in the bike, quickly ran it. Everything seems to be good. All I had to do was adjust the idle. But yeah, other than that, it worked pretty well, it seems. Normal behavior, took it for a quick run down the road. Still got power, hard to say if it's more or less. The point of the video, I guess, was to highlight this version of the air cutoff mod delete. I haven't really shown all the steps very well, but I'm sure with this information, with what's online, you can figure it out. Something that was missing that I wanted information on was what goes back in here after it's been assembled or when you're done. From what I can tell, leave these out. This one gets replaced by a plug. Doesn't need this in there because it doesn't function, and spring was part of this. So yeah, these 3 parts leave out. Epoxy this hole on the cover. I don't know if I have an image of the cover, but you've seen the cover with epoxy in it. Sand it flat, put the O-ring in here, put the plug in, smack it back together, leave the stuff out, and you're good to go. That seems to be the move. There's also a bunch of different ways that you can do this. The goal being remove this and plug this port. If you can find a way to do that, then you've done the air cutoff mod. There's better and worse ways. MCP Cycles sells a cover that they manufacture for it, just a flat plate. That then covers over the seal and replaces the kind of cap that sits on there. That works. This was the O-ring plus plug using the OEM or stock cover, and then just adding the epoxy to plug it. There's videos or pictures where people will cut out a piece of sheet metal to match this and use that, and then also using the ring outside from the diaphragm, they'll cut that out and then fill that into this orifice as well, or groove. So lots of different ways you can do it. I think I mentioned it already, but I decided to go with the one that Grant from Mcp hand drew and marked up with the 38 pilot, 155 main, and 3.5 turns out on the mixture screw. I put it back in the bike, fired it up. Yeah, seems to be working good. Took it for a quick ride down the road after it warmed up, and feels like it's got some life. Hard to say if it's better than it was before until I get it out and actually ride it in normal operating weather. Right now it's below 0, probably -5 or so. But yeah, let's get it fired up and see what it sounds like. All right, bit of a wider view here. We'll fire it up. This is cold. You can see the temperature gauge dead down. It is minus, I think, 2 or 8 or something like that. So it's a bit colder. My choke's down here. I'm gonna open the choke up. Boop. And we'll see if she fires up the first time. Or if the battery died. Look at that. Beautiful. Okay, got it a bit more warmed up now, close to operating temp. I don't know if that's visible. I got the idle sitting just a little bit higher than I probably will in the summer because it's cold right now. Yeah, I guess first Lexx muffler, that's what it sounds like.